What's up guys, welcome back to Piston Show. I'm Kashi Dylan and this is the new Proton e.MAS 7. I say it's new because this is actually the updated version. So what's new with the updated Proton e.MAS 7? In this video I'm going to take you for a walk around, show you exactly what is new and why I believe that this, the premium version, is the best value for money EV that you can buy right now. So stick around. In terms of styling, there's not much that is going on. In fact, it is still the same design that we have seen when the e.MAS 7 was first introduced. Now, the updated version was introduced to the Malaysian market somewhere in July of this year. We are shooting this video in August. So, right after the launch, we've managed to get our hands on it. And just like before, it's running on 19-inch wheels. This is the premium version. And as far as the design goes, there's really not much to distinguish this from the previous generation model. However, there are some key updates, but most of it is inside the car, and that's where we are heading right now. When you first step into the new Proton e.MAS 7, you'll probably be hard done to tell the difference between new and old, because all of it is actually located inside the infotainment screen. Now, the processor for the infotainment screen is now quicker, you get crisper, sharper visuals as well, and the processing speed is just quicker than before. Of course, all of these details are very minute, and you'll probably have to test one after the other to actually tell the difference. But once you start delving deep into it, you'll start to notice the difference. Now, one of the key updates that I truly appreciate is the fact that it now comes with wireless Apple CarPlay. Finally, wireless Apple CarPlay. For me, that has basically perfected the Proton e.MAS 7 package. What about Android Auto though? Well, you still apparently have to wait until Q4 of 2025, perhaps further. Now, I really appreciate Apple CarPlay because it just makes life a lot easier. Just for me at least, I'm talking about this from a very personal perspective. So why is Apple CarPlay important to me? Because I get all of my connected life displayed on the screen over here. So I'm a big fan of Google Maps. It basically gives me all the information I need. I find it a little bit more accurate than Waze, in fact. And it also gives me charging updates. So if I need to look for charges and such, it lets me know where I can access charges and such. On top of that, I get access to all my favorite music and such. But if you notice that all of the main menus are located on the left-hand side of the screen. You know why it's located on the left? Because Proton/Geely has not localized Apple CarPlay. See, when you localize it for right-hand drive cars, this menu is located on the right side of the screen to make it easier for the driver to access these menus. Right now, when you're driving, you have to really stretch across to select whatever it is that you want to select. But that's not just for Apple CarPlay. In fact, I've noticed that even for controls such as, for example, if I wanted to turn off lane keep assist, right now, notice where the close button is located all the way at the top over here. And that, when you're driving, can be quite annoying. Talking about annoying though, now the other thing that truly bugs me as far as the e.MAS 7 is concerned is the fact that every time I get into the car, I need to turn off the lane keep assist, I need to turn off this, I need to turn off the lane departure warning, and then I need to turn off the pre-collision assist, forward collision warning, because this is just annoying. But what is the most annoying though is this speed limit alert, because it chimes every time you get above the local speed limit. And sometimes the local speed limits just do not make sense. 20 kilometers per hour, 30 kilometers per hour. I mean, I know they're there for a reason, but this makes noise even if you go up to, for example, 32 kilometers per hour in a 30 kilometer per hour zone. So I always have to turn that off. I wish it would just memorize it. Apparently it's supposed to memorize it, but I just can't figure it out as yet. So perhaps it's something to do with setting up some profiles and such, but apparently it should be able to. I just do not know how yet. Besides that though, there's a lot to love about the Proton e.MAS 7. Now the interior might seem simplistic, but there are things about the e.MAS 7 that just make a lot of sense, particularly when you compare it against the competition, such as the fact that you get manually adjustable air conditioning vents. Now these are a big deal in a time and era where even air conditioning vents are electronically adjustable. And this knob over here, this gigantic knob, now it doubles up as the volume knob. This lets you adjust the volume of your music and such. And if you tap it down once, it lets you adjust the fan speed. For me, this is very clever. And that just means that you do not need to dive into the menu. But if you wanted to, the air conditioning controls are located just over here. That's very clever, which also means that you do not need to dive into the menu just to do some adjustments to the air conditioning fan or the temperature and such. So I particularly appreciate these small little things that make a lot of sense when you're behind the wheel of the e.MAS 7. Now besides that, you also get a 16 speaker Fly.Me sound system, electronically adjustable seats, you get speakers located in the headrest, which lets you answer your calls and such, and you get this massive panoramic roof. Now to open the panoramic roof though, you have to slide down the menu. But because I have Apple CarPlay over here, projected over here, I can't swipe down the menu. I have to first go back home, and only then can I open the sunroof. Now besides all of that, you also get this oblong shaped steering wheel, which at first may seem a little bit funny, but it starts to make a lot of sense after you start spending time with it. You also get a colorized heads-up display, which is reserved only for the flagship premium variant. On top of that, these controls over here, a lot of it is customizable. So you can customize these buttons over here, but these controls on the left hand side is mostly for the adaptive or intelligent cruise control, and the ones on the right over here, this is for your audio controls and such. Now you also get voice command systems over here, such as, "Hi Proton,
how can I help?"
"Turn up the air conditioning."
Okay.
So it just dropped down 1 degrees, and cancel.
All right.
And there are things about this car that just make a lot of sense. And what I particularly like about it is just how friendly it is to use on a day-to-day basis.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you with it right now.
Now, one of the reasons why the e.MAS 7 has been so popular is, besides the fact that it's friendly and easy to use and perhaps good looking as well, is the fact that it is incredibly spacious. I mean, look at the amount of legroom that I have as well as headroom. I'm not exactly a small guy, so to be able to get comfortable at the back over here is quite something. Now, one of the key things to actually gauge how comfortable a car actually is by judging the amount of thigh support that you get. I mean, look at how much thigh support I get for my leg over here. It's basically right up until the back of my knee. So this is quite important, in fact, and it just lets you sit more comfortably over longer durations. One final thing that separates the new Proton e.MAS 7 from the previous model is the fact that the new one actually comes with a tonneau cover. Now this is actually quite important because this way you can cover and hide whatever it is that you have in your boot. And according to Proton, this costs about 300 ringgit, and they're actually supposed to offer this to the owners of the previous model as well. I'm not sure if they've started rolling that out, But if you haven't got your tonneau cover and you have a Proton e.MAS 7, perhaps reach out to Proton for that. And on top of that, you also get this humongous boot space, storage space in fact. And this lets you hide stuff from everybody's prying eyes. Notice that there was no spare wheel, but at least you get a tire repair kit. So you get a pump and this tire repair material and such. So yeah, at least you're not exactly going to be stranded by the side of the road. Oh, by the way, the Proton e.MAS 7 also has vehicle to load capabilities, so you can go camping with it and such. Now we take it for a drive. So on the move, you hear a lot of these. You hear a lot of chimes, you hear a lot of things that you really wish were not so annoying. Of course, there are ways around it, as I was pointing out earlier in this video, that every time I get behind the wheel and I start to drive the car, I have to sort of turn off a couple of things, otherwise it's just going to keep chiming like this. Sort of turn off the lane keep assist, and notice that every time I do this, it requires me to take my eyes off the road, and that is just basically the paradox of modern safety systems, isn't it? That all of these systems are there to keep you safe, and yet at the same time they are intrusive, and yet every time you want to turn them off, it requires you to take your eyes off the wheel. Paradox, I think. Now, driving the e.MAS 7 is a charming experience. It's a very nice experience. And one thing that I really like, actually a couple of things that I really like about this, is the refinement level. For one, is very quiet in here, and I think what Proton has achieved, Proton/Geely has achieved with the e.MAS 7 is truly remarkable, because even though it's so quiet, they did so without double glazed windows and such, which just basically adds weight to the car. And refinement levels aside, the other thing that I like about the e.MAS 7 is the suspension. It's soft yet firm, and that just makes it very well sorted for Malaysian roads. We get a lot of dips, bumps and potholes and uneven roads and such here in Malaysia. But I think the e.MAS 7 does a really good job at soaking up everything, and that just means that you get a very comfortable ride quality, which for me, I appreciate these things. And the other things that I think deserve special mention is the fact that the e.MAS 7 has decent performance for a car that comes with a single motor. So the cars, EVs with dual motors, of course, you have two motors doing all of the heavy lifting, so naturally performance is going to be great. But for a car that comes with a single motor, the e.MAS 7 is actually quite decent. 0 to 100 slightly over 6 seconds, and it even tops out with a top speed of 175 kilometers per hour. Now that is a really noisy truck, which you really don't get a lot on Malaysian roads. So in that sense, I think that is not a normal thing. So I still think that the refinement levels of the car is quite good. Like this BYD just passed us, didn't hear a thing. And anyway, back to performance. I think what the performance levels that the e.MAS 7 premium version offers, like, can be at 90 kilometers per hour right now, and you put your right foot down and it just goes. So performance is decent. Now let's talk a little bit about charging. See, the flagship e.MAS 7 has a bigger battery as compared to the entry-level e.MAS 7. So with this bigger battery, it recharges using a 11 kilowatt AC charger, and it does so roughly in about 6 hours, 6.5 hours or thereabouts. And if you get access to a DC charger, the e.MAS 7 can take up to 100 kilowatts of DC charging. So 100 kilowatts of DC charging is actually quite a lot. With a 100 kilowatt DC charger, it charges from 30 to 80% in just 20 minutes. And according to Proton, with a 100 kilowatt DC charger, if you get your hands on it and you just recharge for about 10 minutes, it will give you a range of about 120-130 kilometers thereabouts, which is plenty to get to your next destination, plug in and recharge again. So in that sense, I think the e.MAS 7 is a very easy EV to live with. It has almost everything that you want in an EV. You want space, it has it. You want comfort, it has it. You want ventilated seats, it has it. You want a really good sound system, you get 16 speakers, bro. And Apple CarPlay, Android Auto coming soon. What more could you want in an EV? And let's talk a little bit about range though, because this is a little bit of a question mark for me. Because Proton claims that the flagship e.MAS 7 has a WLTP range of 410 kilometers. So with the 410 kilometers, you naturally will want to see 400 kilometers thereabouts on your range meter, range indicator. But yesterday, I recharged this car up to 95%, and I still saw a range of about 375 kilometers. Of course, range is very much dependent on your driving style, your driving modes and such. But never have I saw 400 kilometers in the real world with the Proton e.MAS flagship, the premium variant. Even when I picked up this car from Pronet actually, it had 98% state of charge on the battery, and it still had about 380 kilometers real world range. So you really have to try very hard, or you're not going to see 410 kilometers range. But is 370, 380 good enough? I think yes, it's good enough. I would love for the e.MAS 7 to have a range of 500 kilometers thereabouts and such. But in all honesty, 500 kilometer range will require a bigger battery. A bigger battery means more time recharging. More time recharging means more time away from your family, away from doing stuff that you really need to do on a day-to-day basis, assuming that you're using a public charger lah. If you have a home charger, it just means that you're going to have to use, or you're going to have to recharge the car for longer periods, hence driving up your bills. And 370 kilometers real world range is quite good enough. If you're looking for a car to go about your daily business, drop off the kids in school, tuition and such, then the Proton e.MAS 7 is quite honestly the best value for money EV in the market right now. Of course, there are cheaper models like BYD Atto 2, the upcoming Proton e.MAS 5, and then there's going to be the Perodua EVs that are coming up soon as well. So in that sense, I think when it comes to value for money EVs, I believe that is really difficult to beat the Proton e.MAS 7. It has everything, guys, and it's a very comfortable car, very nice car to drive. So when it comes for value for money, bang for your buck, Proton e.MAS 7 flagship variant, hands down. Thank you for watching, guys. As usual, do consider subscribing.